All right, guys, so today I'm here at Mt.Cuba Center. It's in Delaware, and it's part of the Brandywine Garden Valley area. And the theme with Mt.Cuba Center is strictly a native habitat, native environment. I mean, I'm sure there's some formal areas, but for the most, it's all about planting native plants, using best practices, no pesticides, and that type of thing. So I'm really intrigued, and I can't wait. But first of all, it looks like I'm the only one here. It's 10:45 a.m. on a Sunday, and maybe that has something to do with it. But hey, let's make the best of it, right? Nice and peaceful. Nice and peaceful. Just out by the car, there's some really nice perennials out here. Got some Itea, some Coreopsis down here, tick seed, mass planted, looks really nice. Back there, that might be some Solidago. Penstemon, really nice. And the gorgeous oak leaf hydrangeas back there. Some rhododendrons to the right or between those trees. It's like some Fothergilla shrubs right here. Okay. Oh, look at this right here. It's massive Baptisia right here. They have it over there as well. Oh, there's plants for sale. Oh, definitely be doing this before we leave. Gonna be packing up the trunk with plants on our way out of here. So again, guys, the theme is native plants. Looks like a goldenrod, and then over here, what is this? Ageratum. Ironweed. Very nice. All right. Oh, definitely my swamp milkweed. Yep. I love that. All right, guys, so I have a tour, an 11 a.m. tour. So I'm running a little late. So I'm going to take you guys on this walk through this woodland to get to the tour. Here's a quick layout. So this is me right here, and I hang this right, and we're gonna walk through this woodland to get here. It's gonna be a long walk, guys. Kind of look back at where I started. So I'm going to try not to turn this camera too fast, guys. I'm going to try to get as much visuals as possible. You know, this really shines early spring. That's all that creeping phlox. Then you got Insomnia, which they've already done the Chelsea chop on. And that gorgeous oak leaf hydrangea behind it. And they just repeated the same theme on the other side. So we're going to the Copeland house, guys. Whew. All right, I'm gonna try to shut up. Check out all the leaf litter. You can tell they just thoroughly grind up. I mean, there's compost there as well, but they're not shy about chopping up their leaf litter and using it as a mulch. Yeah, this is such a peaceful experience. Such a peaceful experience. All right, let me pick up the pace here. Great planting ideas for woodland gardens. Look at this gorgeous approach and facade of this house. Well, clearly it's not a house anymore, but let's check out a few of the plants along the facade here. Look at the color of the foliage of this oak leaf here. So you got some Christmas ferns right here, right? Aquilegia right there, and your coral bells. Nice mix. They play very well together. The tonal quality of the foliage.
A botanical garden basically dedicated to appreciation for the beauty and the value of native plants. We also hope to inspire people to commit to protecting the habitats that sustain native plants, which happen to be the habitats that sustain us.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
It kind of works. It's a win-win situation for
Yes.
us all. When I say native plants, are you familiar with native plants?
Yes,
Okay.
fairly, yes.
Okay, and you are too. You had told me that earlier. So we're talking basically about those plants that have been here for thousands of years, before the time of colonization and settlement in North America. Plants that have been here so long that they have gotten acclimated
Yes.
in a way. They are fine with the climate. They are actually fine with the soil without any amendments for the most part, except possibly compost, which is what they do on their own, really, kind of composting in place. They're fine with the water. Really, no special ingredients need to be added, and sometimes actually get in the way of natural processes. Their job of providing food for wildlife, so it kind of bumps them out of the way. Henry's garnet, with the sign there. If
Yes.
That's
are
another one that
interested
smells,
in the plant.
smells so good.
Yeah.
You know this plant.
Yeah,
It's
I got a couple
wonderful
of those
plant
too.
when it's in bloom and really just cranking out the blossoms. It is very fragrant. It is also extraordinarily busy with visitors.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great plant for the bees, the butterflies, and that means basically the holly azure will lay its eggs on this plant, and when the eggs hatch and the caterpillars emerge, they've got the food that they need. As many of our insects, in fact about 90%, 95% of our native insects need some form of native plant to raise their young. And it's mostly the young that require that specific diet.
Okay.
So things like the monarch butterfly, which just about everybody knows about. Monarchs need milkweed plant, or orange milkweed, which is also known as butterfly weed, which is oftentimes confused with butterfly bush.
Right.
Totally different plant.
Right.
But that's that whole relationship between insects raising their young and needing native plants for that. That's the whole basis of the importance of native plants. So, a little more leeway for HOAs because of the legislature passing, I guess, legislation that basically says that, as long as the gardens meet, and is not bringing down
Property
house
values.
price, to be doing the work of, ecology, or to support like this. These are all native plants. These are all cultivars or cultivated varieties. Sometimes cultivated varieties that is selected for like really big flowers or whatever. Sometimes cultivars are not as appealing to insects, but these we selected because this is Culver's root. This one is Fascination. It's a cultivar, so lavender flowers. The wild species has white flowers, but a great structural plant. Really wonderful.
It's so cool. And there's a baby.
Oh yes, yeah, baby statues everywhere.
Yeah.
Mrs. Copeland was a collector.
A bumblebee here.
And some phlox back there, looks like. Nice clump. So that's gonna be beautiful late summer.
I want more sun. It tends to be really tall and shade, it will get just a little too leggy. So I would say you could maybe give it a little bit of shade, but it should probably get at least 6 hours of sun. Yeah. If you wanted something like in shade, that would be a good architectural type plant. Something like the bug banes, like black bug bane, Actia racemus, and we'll see some. Or goat's beard. Those are plants that have really nice structure, flowers that kind of shoot up, and then, but are bushy also. Yeah.
At our place, most of the
Oh, okay. So that would work there. And actually even some rhododendron that work and bloom really well in shade. So yeah, we'll be seeing some of those when we get to the naturalistic garden. They're not, all is not lost in shade. Shade really is nice.
I love shade. Yep.
I sort of like having shady areas. I have a front yard that's all full sun, and I mean that needs more work generally than the backyard does, but when I get to work in the backyard, it's nice to have shade. More comfortable.
We're gonna let him get the strength back. So we found a really good bumblebee.
Yeah.
The bumblebee go though.
So on your way back, I chose the wrong side here but across there you can see there is one of our native roses over there, the pink rose, that's called the prairie rose. It does not seem to have a whole lot of fragrance, at least I wasn't getting any early this morning when I was out here, but it is really just spectacular against that wall there. And then a nice native rose, single flower. Most of our native roses, well, all of our native roses are single flower, like single petals. Just one ring of petals rather than clumpy, clump of petals.
Is it climbing or is it kind of a
That
bush?
one is a climbing one. There's a wire structure. Some of this is Calero-y, and this is sometimes called wine cups, and this is kind of trailing also, and it's kind of tying up with the rose over there, so it's a really nice planting. And of course you have orange milkweed or butterfly weed here. I have seen a few monarch butterflies already, so hopefully we'll see some. And I know that in other areas that we have some of the other milkweeds as well growing.
I love these rattlesnakes.
Oh yeah, the rattlesnake
so
nectar.
big.
Yeah, that's a great plant.
I've never seen one that big before.
It gets quite large, yeah. Let me see. Oh, and over there we also have the giant black-eyed Susan, which is, and then this, which I think is a really lovely plant as well. I love the foliage on it. This is wild quinine. I'm not sure if that's the species, but some type of quinine is, what the tonics are made of, yeah. We do, but we also but we do a lot of no, we're really pretty select at where we get our do like chip rock here. Yeah. So, here, fragrance. Most of the fragrance is coming from the southern magnolia here. This is one of the plants that, yeah, we're pulling from the south, from the southern part of the Piedmont. They do really well though in Delaware, and actually have been growing pretty well in Delaware for a couple of decades. Another nice fragrant plant here, not quite as fragrant, kind of on the wing here, is the sweet rhododendron or sweet azalea. And I really love the fragrance of this. It's kind of vanilla-y.
Oh,
It's a little on the older side.
has a warm tone to it.
Yeah, really. It's wonderfully sweet, not so tangy
Right.
as the southern magnolia.
Sweet.
Here's
Some
a
spicata. Something.
garden design.
Yes.
And making gardens what we call legible, that is, readable to the uninitiated. Grouping plants together is really helpful. Doing a little of the same kind of design diversity that you do in traditional gardens, you know, with some height changes, textural changes, colors that work together well. Though we have some color combinations that are maybe less than ones that, you know, less than glorious or wonderful, but and that's the way nature plants too. We're trying to not just send an aesthetic message. We're trying to send a message to the bees and the butterflies and other insects that use these plants, that they're here. Penstemon is, so far I've talked a lot about the caterpillars that we like to kind of court, but penstemon is definitely a bee plant with the shape of its flower. So small bees and bees, long-tongued bees, really love this plant. It's beard tongue or penstemon. And actually what the bees do is to take the pollen, and when they go to lay their eggs, they pack those eggs with pollen. So when the bees hatch, the baby bees hatch, they have the pollen that they need. About 25% of our native bees need specific plants for raising their young. Here we have some more Virginia sweetspire. This one's a little taller, kind of less trimmed down. It's not exactly a hedge, it's more just a kind of a mass planting. So you can do a lot with keeping Itea virginica or sweetspire as a hedge, or you can let it just be a mass planting. Trims really well. What we use where we use it on the bank there, that gets trimmed about once every 3 years. So it's not particularly difficult to manage. And it does a great job of holding the soil in place because it spreads with underground suckers. And that really is great on slopey areas.
Erosion and stuff, okay.
How long does it take to sort of get to this height?
I'm going to say probably about 10 years.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. They're moderate growers. They're not super fast. They will grow faster in moister soil, but they can also grow pretty well, and they're at least very tolerant of drier soils as well.
Okay.
Goldenrod is kind of tucked in there in the back. And similarly over here, lots of asters and goldenrod. And I'm mentioning those because they support so many caterpillar species. Each of them support over 100 different species of caterpillars. And for instance, this tree here, this Washington, 200 species of caterpillars. These species that support so many caterpillars are what are called keystone species. Is that something you've had some experience with, either of you?
No, I'm just
So keystone species are species of plants. Well, keystone species in general are species, whether they're plant or animal, that have an oversized influence on the ecosystem and the food web in the ecosystem.
okay.
So that if goldenrod and asters, they
Hawthorn
support
tree.
over 100 each.
Vital to the
We'll be seeing
ecosystem.
an oak in a few minutes, and that supports over 500 caterpillar species. It's one of our most
Supports a lot of caterpillars.
plants in the ecosystem. These plants are called keystone species.
Keystone
because they help hold
species.
the ecosystem together in the same way that a keystone holds an arch together. Pretty rambunchously. So yeah, it needs to be divided occasionally.
Okay. Good. You got the
But that
phlox.
Chelsea chop is a good thing
Nice.
to do for a lot of your plants.
Nice hedge of phlox.
This one.
This
This is
Creeping.
This is moss phlox.
moss phlox.
Yeah, phlox subulata.
Subulata.
It's a really nice plant. Blooms early in the spring.
Yes.
You know this.
I
plant.
love it.
It's great for what is called the health strip, that strip of lawn between your front sidewalk and the street. It can take the heat and the dry. It does really well.
Does this have the irritating hairs on it?
It's a little prickly.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
I wouldn't
not
say
bad.
they're
not
hairy.
bad at
I think
all.
It's just that it's kind of almost like kind of a sub-evergreen.
Yeah.
Not quite an evergreen, but semi. And there's a certain prickliness to the stems. Yeah.
Easy to transplant. Easy to divide.
It's
Yeah.
pretty tough.
Pretty tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like how it grows.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, and you can trim it with just the cleanest edge. And,
Yep.
I tell people if they, are in an HOA where people are going to complain about how your native plants look in full sun. It should. It might take a few years though to get, now the second year and it's looking better. Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you. Well, good. Glad that you checked out our trial. Oh, I do. A lot of them. Yeah. I really do. Good. That's the thing. All the booklets. Yeah. Good. I'm glad to hear that. I'll pass that along.
Yes.
And awfully nice. This particular variety, I think it's pretty much just about the only one we use. There are a few others that we use, but this is emerald blue,
Okay.
which is like a bluish lavender. Really beautiful.
Really pretty.
Is this the same stuff?
Yeah. These
But
gorgeous
the
lilacs.
lilacs here, these
Gorgeous.
are non-native plants.
Gorgeous.
They are here because they are part of the history of Mt.Cuba Center. And they are
Oh, sorry.
here. They're important to the family's history.
Right.
So they're what we call legacy plants. There's something here that's just really healthy today.
Yes, I love it. Look at that walk.
So yeah, all of this is, and yeah, it is a little prickly.
Just when it dries out. Maybe that's what it was.
And if there are places where it gets a little dry, and those places are a little more prickly too. And definitely underneath.
Yeah.
Prickly.
And just cut it back hard. And then it'll just come up with a nice, soft, fresh foliage.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flower.
It'll flower again. Yep.
did Longwood yesterday?
Yeah, I did Longwood yesterday, and it's been probably 3 years
Oh, wow.
since I've been there.
I don't think anybody cares.
You see their vegetable garden?
Oh man, I spent a lot.
The white oak here. This is one of our most important keystone plants. White oaks, along with many of the other oaks native to the Northeast, support hundreds of caterpillars. The white oak in particular, though, can support over 500 different species of caterpillars in the Northeast. That is a lot of caterpillars, and then given the fact that white oak has a pretty long lifespan, 400 to 500 years, that's a lot of caterpillars that it's supporting. So it's really one of our most important keystone plants, and if white oaks go into decline, that's a serious hit for, oh, there's a bunny right there. He was heading out this way until I pointed at him.
Not sure if those are columnar oaks or columnar maples. All right, I wanted to catch this climbing rose before I left. It's probably time for a prune back, but it's gorgeous. And the color echo of the blush arborescence hydrangea in the distance. That meadow rue is kind of leaning there with all this moisture and rain. I just bought a bunch of this. So it's good to see the growth habit. Beautiful foliage. So I like how they have the coreopsis interplanted with this yucca. It's a nice combination. Okay. Wanted to catch this clematis right here on this trellis. It's a nice trellis. I know you're gonna get a kick out of this little cherub right here. Let's see if I can get the face.
No. I figured, well, the problem is it wasn't focused, right? So you can always zoom later in a way to get to the better of the hand lens.
All right, garden friends, this is the end of the road for my little trip up into the Brandywine Garden Valley. So I'm just wrapping up my tour of Mt.Cuba and heading on back to Maryland. Thanks for hanging with me on this quick episode. See you on the next one.